Are you going to introduce yourself, Steve? His book is for sale in the back, too, just in case he doesn't mention it.
To quote Ed, I am the caboose. I'm going to read a piece from Fear and Loathing of Boca, Raton, a hippie's guide to the second 60s. And I'm going to dedicate it to my beautiful daughter, Elizabeth, who, I must say, without a scintilla of paternal bias, is an extraordinary writer herself. And this is about Elizabeth, the caboose of our family, leaving. So yes, I have done math more than once over the past 38 years. The first time, I was a typical unfocused, unkempt, unshaven, underachieving, and generally unrepentant sixth-year anti-war undergraduate at the University of Wisconsin. Pacing across the messy living room of a drafty cottage on Lake Kegonsa, with my brand new colicky son howling into my shoulder back and forth, like someone afflicted with OCD, lips and fingers desperately trying to quantify how many years, months, days, minutes, until the tiny screamer would be 18. I'd be free and be my free and easy hipster self again. Okay, so it was immature. And of course, the arithmetic was premature at best. In the 19 years that followed that July evening in 1969, as 6 more howling infants graced our sometimes graceless and more often sleepless lives, I calculated and recalculated and recalculated just how long it would be before that particular crying baby would fly the coop. When I got bored or was overmatched by the confluence of math and calendar, which in my defense included leap years, I calculated simpler goals, like when the people-to-bathroom ratio would be less than 2-to-1, or when we could reasonably unload the VW van and buy a car like regular families, or, as a measure of my most absurd delusions, the night when I would be able to drift off to sleep free from worry. And as long as I'm doing the math in such a public fashion, in those long evening hours of marital negotiation before Elizabeth was conceived in 1987, 6 other children dreaming their own songs of freedom, I did the quick arithmetic and despaired at the thought that I would probably be the oldest dad at high school graduation for 2006. This is true, I even checked some actuarial charts, calculating with a slight quiver of the lip the odds of even making it to the prom. So now the family version of the Jean Tunney long count is over. Elizabeth has indeed graduated from New Paltz High School. Trumpets, alarum, flourished, exuberant. We made it. 37 years from one more push babe to Elizabeth shoving us out the door of her dorm room at Warren Wilson College in Asheville, North Carolina. And to commemorate that oh so pregnant with meaning passage in life, our older kids, with a sweet lump of tongue-in-cheek, threw Patty and me a party, celebrating our milestone, our, quote, graduation from the New Paltz Central School System. 32 years from Cale's weepy entry into kindergarten to Elizabeth's white cap flying into the air. As one might imagine, parting was heartening. So heartening. Our beautiful kids and dear friends all around, and predictably funny too, graduation robes, mortarboards, a homemade yearbook of images documenting graduation by graduation, their young parents growing older and then much older than the teachers in the background. Sandwiched between the good food and the good drink, we happily endured the kind of age-old jokes you might expect about super seniors, and school colors were gray, and questions about college we were replying to. If only, of course, we could remember. But of course, it was a little disheartening. In this post-postpartum world of long-anticipated empty nesting, Patty and I have found that there is also an overwhelming ache, a deep sadness that what has been lost through our newfound freedom. So there was no great sigh of relief, no Tiger Woods fist in the air, as we drove down the long, rutted driveway back to our quiet house in the dark woods. Just a deep breath, and finally, some time for quiet reflection. After all these kids and 32 years of stuffing ourselves in and out of the skinny desk chairs at public school open houses, the rest of our lives out in front of us in countless ways we never imagined, I think I finally understand something about the mathematics of life. The counting never stops. While carpe diem makes good copy, it's pointless advice. An ancient ruse perpetrated by dead poets and living self-help writers who profit from the fearful sound of time's winged chariot hurrying near. In this vast post-Elizabeth universe, I find that I'm listening more intently to the birds in our backyard, the coyotes howling just behind the tree line. I hear more clearly the numerical buzz among the post-hippie crowd in this post-hippie town. How long till retirement, till Medicare, how many, quote, good years we have left. The percentage of our income one needs to live comfortably until the numbers cease to have meaning. And with the limits of time and the calculus of existence at my newly agile fingertips, this new wrinkle on the old counting has achieved a far more serious dimension. Free now to consider the world beyond my front porch, I am thinking exponentially, calculating numbers that will affect my grown children and their children and theirs. 3,932 American deaths in Iraq since the beginning of the war, and counting. The massive federal government deficit for a 9.2 trillion and counting. The average land surface temperature that has risen 0.4 to 0.6 degrees centigrade in the last century, and counting. Sea level that has risen worldwide approximately 15 to 20 centimeters in the last century, and counting. Today, I count myself as angry as any grumpy old man when things just don't add up, as impatient as any young protester demanding accountability, as mobilized and vocal as any toddler who knows the score. I am 61, and it is the 60s all over again.
He is pretty darn clever, isn't he?